Right, my name is Gina Turner. I'm a qualified physiotherapist and I'm also a Pilates instructor. Prior to lockdown, I was teaching postnatal Pilates in a mother and baby class for Kate Cadbury Pilates. So I've just recorded a few videos for people to watch, for new mums to be able to feel that they're able to exercise safely when there's not a lot of other facilities to access at the moment. So I would say for any of these exercises that you need to wait until at least 6 weeks after giving birth. So after you've had your 6-week check with the midwife or your GP to make sure that you're safe to exercise and there's no reason not to. If you've had a C-section, then you may be advised to wait a little bit longer before starting any form of exercise. In the meantime, before you get to your 6-week point or longer with a cesarean, you should still be doing your pelvic floor exercises, and we will be focusing an awful lot on the pelvic floor during these sessions. So if you have any discomfort, any aches and pains, then it might be best to check with your GP or your midwife before continuing. So we're going to start off with a very basic exercise. Now, none of the exercises that I'm going to do will put any undue strain on your tummy muscles, but we'll work on strengthening the core muscles such as your pelvic floor and the corset of muscle around the middle that holds everything stable. Okay. Now these are the muscles that take quite a pasting during both pregnancy and birth, depending on whether you've had a normal birth or whether you had a cesarean, depends on the different kind of issues that you might have. So I'm going to talk a lot about the pelvic floor. If you have had a vaginal delivery, you might find some of these exercises a little harder. If you had a cesarean section, then you might find the tummy exercises a little harder. But all of them should be safe, okay, provided you've had the okay from your GP. For those of you who are not familiar with Pilates, we're going to start right from the beginning. So, and starting off with good posture. So feet are hip width apart, knees nice and soft. Okay, now we're just going to have a little rock forwards and backwards through the pelvis. So tucking your bottom under and sticking your bottom out. Okay, tucking your bottom under and sticking your bottom out. Imagine your pelvis is a bucket of water and you're going to tip a bit of water out the back of the bucket. You're going to tip a bit of water out the front and then you're going to come to the middle where the pelvis is level. Now for all the exercises that we do in standing, we're going to try and maintain that level pelvis. Okay? Pregnancy has a terrible habit of making you stand like that. So we're just going to try and strengthen those muscles that hold your lower back and your abdominal muscles in a slightly better alignment. Okay? Now once you've found that neutral position, we're going to shrug the shoulders all the way up and lower them back down. Okay? And shrug all the way up and lower them back down. One more time, come all the way up and all the way down. See if you can sit your shoulder blades on your bra straps, far down as they'll go, and then relax. So your collarbones should be nice and wide. Shoulders open. We're just going to tuck your chin in a fraction so that the back of your neck is nice and long and your neck is relaxed. Now from here we're going to engage through the pelvic floor. So just giving a little squeeze, drawing up and relax. Now we talk about using your pelvic floor at about 30%. Keep squeezing and relaxing. So it's not as if you're on the M4 and you've had a massive coffee and there are no services for the next 50 miles, but it's a gentle squeeze. Okay, and and relax, and squeeze and relax. Now there are two types of pelvic floor exercises. There are the quick ones where you squeeze, relax, squeeze, relax, squeeze, relax. And those are the ones that help you keep control when you sneeze or cough. And there are the muscles that take longer, so you hold for a count of 10, 2, 3, 4, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and relax. And these are the more long-term sustained muscles that you're using when you're walking, when you're standing up, the ones that have to keep ticking over for a long period of time. And we need both these types of muscles, the short, quick muscles and the slower, more long-term holds. So when you're practicing your pelvic floor exercise, it's best to do a combination of both types. So sets of 10 of the hold and relax, and hold and relax, and then sets of 10 of the hold it in for a count of 10, and then relax. Okay. So we've got our beautiful posture, we've got our pelvic floor working. If you have any concerns regarding your pelvic floor, then if you find that pelvic floor exercises aren't solving the problem, it's a good idea to speak to your GP and get them to refer you to a physiotherapist. Okay. Right, the other part of your core muscles to activate, as well as the pelvic floor, are these tummy muscles. So these tummy muscles will all have been stretched during pregnancy, and we're going to try and reactivate them. Now, when you do activate your pelvic floor, you will find that your tummy muscles should automatically contract. If you've had a cesarean section, you may find this more difficult, so you might want to focus initially more on the pelvic floor than the tummy. So imagine your tummy sticking right out, back to pregnancy again, and you're going to gently, through those lower abdominals, the muscles around the waistband on your leggings, just draw in slightly. Okay, and see if you can hold it there. And then relax. So very gently, below the belly button, around the waistband on your leggings, you're just going to draw in and relax. Okay, draw in and relax. Now ideally you should be drawing in as you breathe out. This stops you holding your breath and bracing. So you want an active contraction rather than a suck it all in, hold it all in, keep it all in, and lost it. We're looking for a sustained contraction where you draw those lower abdominal muscles in. And we're going to get the two to work in tandem. So between your pelvic floor and those tummy muscles, we breathe out and squeeze, breathe in to relax. Now we're going to put a little bit of movement in here. So elbows tucked in your sides, palms facing upwards. We're going to breathe out as you engage and the hands come wide, and breathe in to come to center. So breathe out and squeeze, breathe in to center. Again, you're focusing on a gentle squeeze. You're not bracing, you're not holding it all in like you've had your grande macchiato and there are no services. And relax. Breathe out, squeeze, and in. Okay, now we're going to try and keep this rhythm going as we take the arms further. So breathe out, take the arms wide, flip the hands over, breathe in as the palms come up, hands come in. Breathe out, engage pelvic floor, tummy. Breathe in as you come back in and relax. Now, if you're struggling with the breathing, the pelvic floor and the tummy and coordinating the arms, ignore the breathing. Just focus on the pelvic floor and the abdominal muscles as you start to make the movements slightly bigger. Okay, now it might be that you want to practice that abdominal drawing in combination with the pelvic floor on a regular basis throughout the day. And that can be as simple as every time you pop the kettle on, and there are a lot of cups of tea being brewed at the moment with everyone being stuck in the house. Every time you pop the kettle on, see if you can do a few pelvic floor, lower abdominal squeeze. Okay, now we're going to do a little bit of a stretch. Okay, so float the arms up, right up above the head. Okay, I'm going to take a couple of steps back, so I've just realised you can't see my hands. So we're going to float the arms up. And we're going to stretch through, right from your fingers to your hips. And the other side. Stretching up, reaching for the ceiling. And the other side. Stretch up. Now hold the arm up there, take the other one down to the side, and we're going to push the hips out to the side, stretching through the fingers and turning yourself into a human banana. And hold the stretch there before you come to the centre and bring the other arm up. And off we go again. Now this time the other arm should be up in the air. If not, do a quick swap. And we're going to stretch to the other side. And come to the centre now. Float both arms up. Just drop your shoulder blades back down so that they're sitting on your bra strap again. Now this time you're going to imagine you've got a set of headlights on your hips. You're going to keep those headlights pointing forward while your upper body moves. So we're going to circle the arm out, keeping the hips pointing forward and back to centre and the other side. So breathe out as the arm goes away and into centre. Out, in, breathe out and in. Okay, one more each side. And relax. Okay, I'm just going to come forward a little bit now. So, a little bit more bend in the knees this time. And we're just going to do some hip circles. So, knees bent. Now you're going to keep your shoulders absolutely still. And we're going to move from below the waist. So we're going to circle the hips round 5 times in one direction, loosening out through the lower back. 4, 5, and 5 times in the other direction. 3, 4, and 5. And relax. Okay. Now we're going to go into some gentle squats. So take your feet slightly wider than the hips, toes pointing out at about 45 degrees. And we're going to breathe out as we come down and breathe in as you come up. Now imagine that there's an invisible wall behind you, and you're going to push the arms back against that invisible wall as you come up. Okay, 3 more. Make sure that your knees stay out and aren't falling into the centre. Okay, now we're going to make it slightly harder. Bring the feet in a little way. So back to hip width apart, and we're going to do what's called the foot series. Now with this, if you've got any problems with your knees at all, you may just want to continue with some gentle squats, only going down as far as is comfortable. Okay, but now we're going to use those core muscles to help you balance. So we're going to go down into a squat, lift the heels and stand up and come down. So breathe out on the way down, in to lift the heels, stand up and down. Now during this, you're going to focus on those tummy muscles, on your pelvic floor, to keep you stable in the middle and help your balance. Okay, couple more. Last one. Okay, now same thing but in reverse. So we're going up onto toes, bend the knees. Now try and keep the knees steady, don't let them wobble around all over the place. Heels come down and stand up. So come up onto toes, down into a squat, lower the heels and come up. If this is uncomfortable on your knees, then think about just going back to your basic squats. Okay, so couple more, up onto toes, down into a squat, heels come down and up. Last one. Okay, and relax. Give the legs a bit of a shake. Okay, now this next exercise, again, we're focusing on that stability in the middle. Using your pelvic floor, using those tummy muscles to keep you steady as you balance. So imagine you've got a spirit level across your pelvis. We're going to bend one knee and just shift the weight across slightly. Now, I'm going to give you options depending on the state of your balance. So we're going to bring the knee up and take it away. Bring the knee up and take it away. Breathe out and in. Now as the leg goes away, squeeze through your bottom muscle. If you're finding this easy, try doing it without the foot tapping the floor. And finally, for an extra challenge, bring in the arm. Tap and reach. Tap and reach. Keep the supporting knee soft so that it's not locked out. Use those tummy muscles to stop you from wobbling. Okay, 3, 2, 1, and swap sides. So give everything a bit of a shake. Put that spirit level back in place across the hips. Shift the weight to the other side, a little bit of flex in the knee. So level 1, just going to bring the knee up and out. Level 2, try it without the leg or the toes touching the floor. This is my bad side. Everyone has a better and a worse side. And level 3, arm and leg. Now it is more important that you are stable in the middle than that you achieve a higher level. So if you find that at level 2 you can maintain a completely still upper body, but at level 3 your body popping all over the place, stick with level 2, okay? Because then you are using those core muscles to stabilize. Whereas if you're all over the place, you've lost that control. Right, give everything a bit of a shake, and we're going to go down into our roll downs. If you have any back problems at all, only go as far as is comfortable. For those of you who've not done any Pilates before, your roll down is a forward bend, but a forward bend little by little, mobilizing the spine. So we're going to breathe in to prepare, breathe out, engage through the pelvic floor, through those lower abdominals. You're going to nod the head forward, and we're going to peel down through the spine, one vertebra at a time. Okay. When you can feel there's no more give in your back, relax down through the hips towards the floor. When you get to the bottom, take a deep breath in. Breathe out. Re-engage through the pelvic floor. Draw in through the lower abdominals and start to restack. So you're coming up through the hips first, and then one by one, back up. Restacking the vertebra till you get back to your beautiful starting posture. Lift the arms, take them wide, pull your shoulder blades together, lift the chest, and come back to center. Right, we're going to do 2 more of those. So breathe in to prepare, breathe out, pelvic floor engaged, lower abdominals drawn in. Nod the head forward and start peeling down. Only go as far as is comfortable. And we're going all the way down to the floor, or ankles or knees. Deep breath in at the bottom. Breathe out and start to restack, starting with the hips. Tummy engaged, pelvic floor working, all the way back up. Get to the top, take the arms wide, shoulder blades together, lift the chest, and come to center, ready for the last one. So breathe in to prepare, breathe out, engage, and over you go. Now, when you get to the bottom this time, just nod your head as if you're saying yes, and then shake your head as if you're saying no. Take a deep breath in, breathe out, pelvic floor working, tummy engaged, and restack. One vertebra at a time. Arms wide, shoulders together, lift the chest and come to centre. Right, we're going to do a quick stretch now through the hips. Again, that pregnancy position makes everything around the front of the hips quite tight. So we're just going to stretch that out a little bit before we move on to our next exercise. If you've got any problems with your knees, just pop a folded up towel under one knee, other knee comes forward. Okay, now in this position you're going to tuck your bottom under, push your hips forward and feel a nice stretch up the front of the thigh. Okay, and from here we're going to take the arm up and reach over to the side. And come to centre. Right, so other side this time, and I'm going to do it from the side this time. So other knee up, and we're going to tuck under your bottom, push the hip forward and feel a really nice stretch. I call this the anti-baby stretch. We spend our whole life bending forward after a baby, whether you're feeding, whether you're changing, pushing a buggy, it's bending forward the whole time, and this just opens out the front of the hip, gets everything stretched out. So take the arm up on the side you're stretching and reach across. And come to centre. If you want, you can pause the recording now and just do a couple more of those if you wish. Right, moving on, we're going to come down onto the mat. So in this position, just check I can be seen. We've got feet hip width apart, and again we're just going to do that rock forwards and backwards through the pelvis, just to loosen everything off through the lower back. Okay, tucking your bottom under, sticking your bottom out, and you're going to come to a position where you've got a little gap between your lower back and the floor. Okay, just a small one. Don't let your back arch right up, and your back shouldn't be pressed down into the mat. Okay, so just a small gap. Right, now in my classes I would normally check to see whether you have a tummy divarication or not. Obviously I can't do that online, so all of these exercises are suitable for everyone, whether they have a diastasis rectus or not. Okay, so in this position we're now going to focus on the ribs. So we're going to float the arms up. We're going to take them over the head, scoop them round and come back to centre. So the focus on this exercise is as the arms come back, you're going to keep your ribs down. Scoop the arms round, come back to centre. So breathe out, draw the ribs down towards your tummy, but without losing that little gap. Take the arms back and round. So you breathe out, draw the ribs down, circle the arms up, now the tendency with this exercise is as the arms go back, the ribs lift. So try and focus on keeping them down. It doesn't matter if your arms don't touch the floor behind you. The most important thing is to maintain your posture in the middle. Last one. And bring the arms down. Now this time we're going to slide the leg away. So again, focusing on this area in the middle, we're going to breathe in to prepare. Breathe out. Squeeze through the pelvic floor, draw in those lower abdominals and slide the leg away. And breathe in to return. Breathe out, leg goes away. Breathe in to return. Now, as you do this, you're focusing on keeping those lower abdominals drawn in and the pelvic floor engaged so that your lower back doesn't arch and your tummy doesn't stick upwards. The tendency is as the leg goes out, the back arches and you end up with a huge gap between your lower back and the floor. So you're going to focus on those abdominal muscles to keep everything still. Okay, if you find that relatively easy, you can take it up a stage further. So we're going to breathe out and float one leg up to what we call the tabletop position. So your knee is over your hip and your shin is parallel to the ceiling. Breathe in to hold. As you breathe out, you're going to send the leg away. Breathe in to return. Breathe out to come down. So breathe in to prepare. Breathe out. Tummy muscles engage. Float the leg up. Breathe in to hold. Breathe out as the leg goes away. In to return. And out to come down. If you find the breathing is getting a bit too confusing, don't worry about it. As long as you are breathing, that's the main point. But focus on those lower abdominals, keeping everything in the middle absolutely still. Okay, right, we're going to take it up a step further and we're going to put arms and legs together. So float the arms up. Now the arms go back, the leg straightens, the arms come in, the leg comes in. So breathe out and in. Breathe out and in. Now the temptation here is as the arms go back and the leg goes out, you get your lower back arching and your ribs sticking out. So as you breathe out, engage the pelvic floor, use those tummy muscles to stop the ribs from lifting, and breathe in to relax. Now if you want, you can try for the next level up. So with the leg in tabletop, we're going to breathe out and in. Again, you're making sure as the leg goes away, the back doesn't arch. We're going to do a couple more on this side. And swap legs. Okay, if you think you might have lost your position, just have a little rock forwards and backwards. Find that neutral again, little gap under the lower back. Float the leg up to tabletop and off we go on the other side. So breathe out, keep the ribs down and in. The ribs are a really key point. I find a lot of ladies in my class really struggle to keep their ribs down because the tummy muscles have been so stretched, and a lot of people experience rib flare during pregnancy. This is actually one of the areas they find really hard to control. Last one. And relax. Give the legs a little shake. Have a rock forwards and backwards through the pelvis and come back to your neutral with that little gap between the lower back and the floor. Now the next exercise we're going to do is hip twist. So from here, pelvis in neutral, we're going to breathe out, draw in through the tummy muscles and float one leg out to the side. And breathe in as it comes back to center. Breathe out as the leg goes away. Breathe in to center. Now when doing this exercise, imagine that you've got a glass of champagne balanced on the leg that isn't moving. And it's got to stay absolutely still. So as you breathe out, use your tummy muscles, use the pelvic floor to keep everything stable. Okay, you're going to keep your tummy button pointing up towards the ceiling. It is more important that your belly button is staying still than it is to get your leg out to the side. So it may be that you can only go a little way before everything starts to wobble about. Focus in on those core muscles and take the leg as far as you can without everything going haywire. Now, if you're finding this exercise easy, you can take it up to the next level. So float one leg up to tabletop, and you're going to take the whole leg out to the side and bring it back in. So breathe out, engage through the pelvic floor, through the lower abdominals, float the leg out to the side, and breathe in to center. Breathe out as you engage pelvic floor working. Breathe in to center. Okay. If you've had any problems with your SIJ during pregnancy and you're finding this exercise uncomfortable, go back to the level before where you have both feet on the ground. Breathe out as the leg goes away and in as you come back. Same goes for any problems with SPD or pubic symphysis dysfunction. Okay, we're going for approximately 10 each leg. And relax. Give the legs a bit of a shake. Now the final exercise I'm going to put in this set is one more for your back and your posture. So we're going to come on to lying on our fronts. Forehead pointing down, arms out to the side, fingers pointing forward. Now, in this position, you're going to tuck your bottom under, so you're drawing those lower tummy muscles away from the mat, as if there was a tiny little fire under there. And from here, we're going to breathe out, and as you breathe out, slide the shoulder blades down your back. Now, as you slide them back, you're going to push a marble away with your nose, and gently lift your head and the top part of your chest. Breathe in to hold. And breathe out to come down. So breathe in to prepare. Breathe out. Squeeze through the pelvic floor. Draw in those lower abdominals. And peel up through the chest. Breathe in to hold. Breathe out to come down. Now, if this is comfortable and you don't have any discomfort in your lower back, you can come up further onto the hands. Breathe in to hold. Breathe out to come down. The important part is that you start this movement with the shoulders sliding away as you peel up, in to hold, and come down. Last one. Now from here we're going to come up onto your knees, sit back on your heels, reach the hands forward and just come into a shell stretch. Okay. And come into sitting. Now, I'm going to stop the exercise there because for most of you the baby will probably have woken up by now. We're going to keep these exercise routines fairly short. However, if you're looking for a hip and bottom workout, Kate's first Pilates session this week that was broadcast on Sunday, that will have been the 29th of March, has a lovely section on it for bottom exercises where she's lying on her side. All of those should be perfectly safe to do after you've had your baby, and your bottom muscles will be aching afterwards. So you can have a look through those if you want some additional ones. I will be doing some more exercises next week, and I'm happy to answer any questions anyone might have. Okay, bye.